Hello. Hello. Can you hear me, Donna? Can you hear me, Donna?
Yes, I can.
All right, beautiful. So it's just me and you at the moment. Tell me a little bit about, so the topic for today is scripts.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about why you chose to be here today.
Just wanted to see what you had to say about scripts. I have scripts from when I was in productivity coaching with Ray.
Okay.
And then I have scripts from Ignite. So I just wanted to see if you had anything different to add to what I already have.
Yes. I don't have like a personal like script book, but I do believe that obviously I believe in scripts. So if you're open to it, you could share, if you're willing, you could share the scripts that you got previously from the last program. I'd love to take a look at those. And at the end of the day, scripts work if you use them, right? If you don't use them, they're not going to work, right? So
Absolutely.
the most important thing that you can do is get into a habit of using them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that you say them exactly like they're written. So tell me a little bit about your kind of your, how did you generate leads? What was your experience with scripts in the last program?
Well, to be honest, Bill, I did not put a lot of time into practicing my scripts.
Okay.
And so as far as my lead generation, I have about 110 leads in my database. Most of those are my personal contacts, family and friends. So I didn't really use scripts when, getting information that I didn't already have. And then a lot of the other ones I contacted through my Facebook messaging. So I haven't really utilized the scripts yet, but I know that I need to practice them and use them to grow my database and to also nurture, the folks that I have in there, maybe to follow up with some that I haven't spoken to in a while. So I know
Yes.
they're valuable, and I know that I need to memorize them the way that they're written, even though, I may improvise a little bit based on the conversation, the person that I'm talking to. But I feel like if I memorize them, at least I will remember to hit all the important points that I'm supposed to hit during the conversation.
Beautiful.
And not get really sidetracked.
Perfect. Because there's a couple of goals you should have with each conversation, right? Getting data, updating data, making deposits, if you will, right? Making contributions, asking questions, showing you care, leading with your heart, all that. And then if it's applicable, then you ask for the business, right? Or you ask for the opportunity to meet with them. You ask for the appointment. So if you're calling your sphere of influence, then the conversations are going to be a little different than if you are circle prospecting, or you are, what do you call it, if you're um, calling FSBOs or expireds or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So have you determined that you want to try FSBOs or expireds, or kind of, when you think of how many appointments you have to set for the year, what is your immediate reaction? Are you thinking to yourself, I need to add some more people to my database, or are you thinking, I just need to call these people? Where are you at mentally?
Both. And I have been listening to the videos on Vulcan 7.
Okay.
And a lot of the folks that they interview talk about the scripts that they use. They kind of go through their scripts a little bit. So that's been very helpful. And a lot of what I hear is, what I've read in the scripts that I have too. So I see that it's working with the folks who are being interviewed on Vulcan 7, and those folks are reaching out to expireds and FSBOs.
Yes.
So, that's been helpful to hear other people talking about their scripts and their success using them.
Okay.
And their lead gen. I mean, these people are talking about their daily habit of doing lead gen every morning for however many hours.
Yep.
It differs for some people, but people that have been in the business for a few years, they've been
Yep.
very successful because they've made lead gen a daily habit.
Are you
And they
willing to
practice
make lead gen a daily habit?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I am. Absolutely. And practicing scripts. I mean, I know that I need to do these things to be successful.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I would do is you need to internalize them, right? You need to say them real fast, say them over and over again. And then, put the script away and just let it sink in. Like, it's got to become natural to you. So if somebody says, oh, I want you to take less commission, you say, hey, I appreciate that concern. I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about what's important to you about paying less of a commission, right? It's just a natural, like, I have something to say that's intelligent to you, and I'm going to say it, and I don't have to think twice about it.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I use a bit of a script. Well, it is a script in my current work. At the start of every interview, when I put someone under oath, or when I explain my role and the process, it's a script. It just flows. I could be reading an email and typing, and it's just flowing out of my mouth because I've said it so many times. And that's a script. And I'm very comfortable with it. To put someone under oath, I say to them, we are going to do this interview under oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to furnish will be true and complete to the best of your knowledge and belief? And then they say they do. Right. And then when I start, I say, so before we get started, I'd like to briefly discuss my role and what we're doing today and answer any questions that you might have. As I mentioned previously in my email correspondence, I am a contract EEO investigator. I work with a private civil rights consulting firm, DSC and Associates, and DSC is under contract with the DOD to ensure that a neutral investigation is conducted in this case. And then I go on and explain my role a little more. But it's basically the same thing at the start of every interview. So for me, it's a script.
Yeah. And one thing that, like, it took somebody saying this to me in a unique way, but what I ended up thinking was, a script is only the conditioned response that you have when prompted, right? So let's say you don't use scripts, okay? But anytime you're going to explain to a buyer why being pre-approved is important, you're going to say the same thing.
Right.
Right? So that is a script. So wouldn't it just be more helpful just to say the one that's been professionally written by people that study the brain?
Absolutely. I mean, if
Right.
it's working for them, there's no reason why it wouldn't work for me.
100%.
I
So
agree.
how can how can you use scripts more strategically this week?
Well, um, number one, I have to practice the scripts so that I know them. If I had practiced them already and if I had them memorized, if I was comfortable with them, then I could use them in, my lead gen calls, reaching out to FSBOs and expireds, reaching out to my sphere of influence to see if I can get any referrals.
Mhm.
I mean, I would just make it part of my daily practice. And also I would, continue to practice scripts, because you can only get um, better if you practice
100%.
daily.
100%.
So I totally understand. I totally buy into it. And my plan is to
Beautiful.
use the practice.
So tell me a little bit about, let's examine your day tomorrow. Tell me a little bit about what's on your calendar tomorrow.
Okay, give me a second to pull up my calendar. Okay, so the only thing that I have on my calendar tomorrow is the morning session with you and whatever else is on, hopefully, the calendar with you.
Mhm.
In addition to, I have an appointment that was canceled this afternoon, rescheduled for tomorrow at 11 Eastern. So
Okay.
that appointment will probably take me about an hour. But I also have 3 reports that are due, 3 counseling reports that I need to get finished between now and the end of the day tomorrow. So that's, I have some time blocked for that. Other than that, it's, to be honest, I haven't time blocked very well. I'm just kind of handling my tasks that I know are due.
Okay.
And
Are those
kind
tasks time blocked?
no, no, they're not. I
Um,
have,
so let me walk you through that exactly. So Stephanie, we're having just a quick conversation about scripts, and we've kind of moved into um, making sure we're having kind of a little bit of time blocking conversation. Okay. So Donna, you said that you have um, like a couple of reports you have to do and an interview you have to do tomorrow. Is that right?
that's right.
Okay, so the interview is on your calendar, right?
That's correct.
And the time that you have to use in order to complete your work obligations in that report, is that time on your calendar?
No, it's not time blocked, and I have an
Okay,
excuse.
let's do that right now. Let's stop the earth until that thing is on your calendar. What
Okay.
time, how much time is that, when is that due, and how much time is it going to take?
Um, Actually, they are due now. Um, they should be submitted uh, immediately when I finish a case. These are smaller cases. They're counselings. They're not investigations. So when I close out, I should be submitting my reports within 3 days' time. So these are cases that I finished last week that
Okay,
I did not finish the reports.
so like when do you get in trouble? Like when is the real deadline?
I think I've been pushing the envelope a little bit. I have not been called on it yet.
Okay.
Um, and that's really because I have a very full plate, I believe. I take on a lot of work for these folks, and I have a very full schedule. So I've been working on other, um, you know, other investigations.
Okay,
So
so, but is it fair to say that you're a little fuzzy on how much you could take on because you don't have the commitments you've already agreed to properly time blocked.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I
let's quit this
totally
nonsense.
need
Let's just
to time
Let's
block.
do it the right way. So what we know is that you need to better time block. So what
I
I'd like
do.
for you to do is time block right now, whatever is necessary to complete the current obligations that you've already committed to. So if you
Okay.
need 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day or whatever it may be, get it on your calendar right now. Everything that you commit to, it needs a time block. And then
Right.
there's a few things that go along with that. Number one is you need to look at your calendar, right? Look at your time block. And then secondly, you need to hold yourself accountable to it, right? If you put the time on your calendar and then you don't respect the time block and you lie to yourself, that's not going to help you. It's not going to serve you, and it's not going to serve the people that depend on you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm very good about time blocking appointments, but as far as tasks, I'm very bad at time blocking for tasks.
Okay, so let's start a new habit. Okay, so I want you to time block for this particular task. Put it on the calendar. You know it's later than it should be. Just go ahead and do it. Fair?
Yes.
Okay, when is it happening?
Well, it's going to happen after this call and then tomorrow in between my appointments.
So what time is that?
So that will be whatever time we finish. And I'm currently Central Time Zone, so I have 1:18. So that will happen at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern until probably 5 o'clock Central. And then tomorrow, whatever time we finish, probably 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, until my appointment at 2:30 Eastern, with maybe breaks in between to listen to any training that you have. I don't have those trainings on my calendar, and I should.
So you might, I mean, I don't want to suggest you not attend the trainings, obviously, but you do have to have a kind of a conversation with yourself, if you will, to say, what are the priorities for my day, right? And that's the purpose. That's why we started with a 1-3-5 and we moved to a 4-1. Is you got to evaluate what are my professional priorities, what are my personal priorities, what are my fitness priorities, whatever they may be, so that they get respect on your calendar, right? So is it fair to say that you don't currently have any prospecting time on your calendar for real estate tomorrow? Is that true?
I do not.
Okay. What do you think the likelihood of it happening is going to be? Because you already told me you're a little stressed, right?
Yes. Well, it's not going to happen during the day tomorrow. If anything, I try to make calls in the evening when I can.
Okay. When you can sounds like there's a lot of stuff that could get in the way. Fair?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you think that if it's on your calendar, do you think there's a better shot of it happening?
Yes.
All right, let's just get it on the calendar. Fair?
Okay.
So
yes.
I want you, everything that deserves to be time blocked, I want you to time block it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that includes, by the way, what I suggested for agents at both you and Stephanie's level, which is you need to be spending however much time you are able to spend. You need to spend some of it learning, right? And you need to spend some of it dealing in your database, which means making phone calls. right?
Right.
Okay, so I want
I
you to
agree.
have a serious conversation with yourself every day that says, how many minutes or hours can I spend in the real estate world today? And whatever the answer is, whether it's 20 minutes or 15 hours, make sure you are splitting that between making some phone calls and learning. And at the moment you make that decision, you need to then put it in your calendar and then respect that time block.
Yes, I agree. That's my problem is I haven't been very disciplined about it, so I need to be more intentional.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but the fact of the matter is you haven't had a guide, right? Your calendar has not been guiding you.
Right.
And so what did you expect? I mean, I'm being really blunt with you here, but
No, I agree.
you know, if you don't rely on your calendar to tell you what to do, then it's not going to happen. And if your calendar hasn't been trained properly, then your chances of accomplishing it are even worse.
You're right, because I'm very scattered. If I wasn't, if I used my calendar more efficiently and more, just more regularly, if I actually utilized my calendar, I wouldn't be so scattered and I'd probably accomplish a lot more efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I totally agree.
So are you ready to commit to this new habit?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm excited to be a part of that. So that means that, so let's actually back up just a second. Do you have a 135 right now?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes?
I do.
Okay. Do you, what I'm going to ask you to do is to create one. Okay. And the reason is because that is going to tell you, in addition to your 411, what those priorities are that deserve a time block. Right? Because those priorities are most likely going to be right now adding people to the database, learning, and going and setting appointments, going on and setting appointments. Right? And so you have to have time within your schedule, time blocked, that you're not willing to allow anything to interrupt you, right? So that those three
Right.
things make sure they get done. So if you don't have learning time blocked in your calendar, it is not going to happen.
Right.
Or it's not going to be purposeful. It's going to be random and happenstance, and you're not going to hit your goals behaving that way.
Right. I agree.
Right. And just like you've internalized the scripts, let's go back to scripts for a second. Just like you've internalized the scripts at your other job, the more you internalize the scripts with respect to getting buyer appointments and seller appointments and walking people through processes and overcoming objections and these kind of things, the more confident that you're going to be. And therefore, the better ratios are going to be. Meaning you won't have to talk to as many people to get the business that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I totally agree with you. You're absolutely correct. Just supporting everything that I've learned so far and read so far. I just haven't implemented it, and I need to.
Okay.
And to be honest, I don't know why I haven't. I know what to do. I don't know why I haven't done it.
Right.
But I need to make the commitment to do it. Because
Cool.
it'll help me. It'll not only help me in real estate, but it will help me outside of real estate as well.
Oh, 100%. Because there's probably tasks that need to get done for your family that are also not happening, yes?
Yes, probably. I tend to put my family first, though, to be honest, which is a lot of the reason why I fall behind in other things.
So it's all a matter of how you spend your time. It's all a matter of how you spend your time, right? I'm not suggesting you change that, but there's, if you would have goals outside of your family, they deserve a certain amount of time.
You're right.
Simple as that, right?
It is.
It kind of goes back to what we were saying a while ago, which was which was this idea of being all in when you're with your family and being all in when you're with business, right? And if you end up being scattered when you're working and scattered when you're with your family, you don't get nearly as much work done, and you never have this like mental peace,
It's true.
right?
I totally agree.
Okay.
And you get burnt out. You just get burnt out.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's your biggest challenge right now when it comes to scripts?
My challenge is I haven't started to memorize them yet. That's the only challenge I have. I haven't blocked out time to do that. And I know I need to do that. I have the scripts from Ignite, from Ray. You know, there are resources. And I just haven't made the time to do it.
Okay, so do you have any openings in your calendar tomorrow?
To be honest, probably not, because the reports that I have to write are pretty time consuming, and I'm anticipating that they're probably going to take the full day outside of my other appointments. So
10 minutes?
10 minutes? Absolutely. I can
Right, put in your calendar for 10 minutes.
Absolutely, I can do that.
All right, 10 minutes. That's all I want. Just put it in your calendar, and it's like a you're training yourself to respect the time block, right? So if you say from 1:15 to 1:30, I am going to study scripts. And then you have a little buzzer or something that reminds you, hey, I committed to studying scripts from during this 15-minute block, and then you do it, you'll be teaching yourself that it's possible and that it's productive.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it for 15 minutes tomorrow.
Okay.
To make a habit of it, to start a new habit.
Love it. So then the next thing you would do is say, why is this important to me? What's so important about starting a habit to study scripts every day, Donna?
It's going to help me in my lead gen.
And why is that important?
Because lead gen is the most important thing for me to grow my business.
And why is growing your business important?
So I can reach my goals and achieve my goals and have a better life, just to be financially independent. And to
how are you going to feel when that happens?
I'm going to feel awesome.
And who else is going to be impacted when you hit those goals?
Of course, my family will be impacted.
Who's in your family?
Because I will be left, my spouse, my 4 children, my 3 grandchildren, my children's significant others, my sisters who I never take the time to speak to.
You know why?
Because I'm always working.
Well, you don't have that time
because
block.
I don't manage my time.
Well, first of all, and you're doing really good, and I appreciate you working with me here. But I asked you, do you have any time to do this? And you said probably not. Then I said, could you give it 10 minutes? And you said 10 minutes, yeah. Right?
I know. I know.
So is there any other 10-minute gap in your day tomorrow that you'd be willing to call your sister?
I'm sure I could work that in.
If you're disciplined, you can.
I know.
So we know you got to practice your
you.
scripts every day. Can you find 3 10-minute blocks throughout the week that you can call your sisters?
Yes.
Okay, put it in your
calendar.
calendar.
Of course I can. If I put it on my calendar, I could do it.
Okay. I'm
Because
gonna pause right now,
every
and I'm gonna
appointment,
let you put it on your calendar.
okay. I was gonna say, everything I put on my calendar, I actually do.
Oh my gosh, this is
When I put my
marvelous.
appointments on my calendar, I never miss them.
Well, this is marvelous. All right, we'll take a
Right.
30-second break while you find the time slot you're putting it on, okay?
I'm doing it.
Okay, you can tell me high five, virtual high five to the person who can tell me which letters of the alphabet. All right, let me know when you're done.
Okay, I have 4 sisters. Okay, I'm finished.
Wow, when is it gonna happen?
I'm gonna call my sister Brenda at 1 o'clock Eastern on Monday. I'm gonna call my sister Linda at 5 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday. I'm gonna call my sister Sandra at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. And I'm gonna call my sister Deborah at 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Beautiful. Do they have end times?
No, I didn't put in time.
Okay, let's put an end time, because time is valuable, right?
It is.
All right, how long are you
So
gonna talk to each one? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
No, I'm gonna give them 30 minutes. I haven't spoken to them in a while.
Great, 30 minutes. Let's make sure that's there.
I have to especially put an end time for my sister Linda because she likes to talk a lot and I have a hard time breaking away.
Yep.
So I will put 30 minutes for each and I will stick to that. And I know you're going to ask me about it next week, so I'm going to make sure I do it.
Of course. You do want an accountability partner, right?
I do.
You are serious about your job, right?
Very serious about it.
You don't want to look your granddaughters in the face and say, Mommy didn't generate her leads because Mommy didn't know when to do it.
That's correct.
Okay, beautiful. All right, what else is important to you? We're on a roll.
As far as
What else
besides my
deserves time in your
family?
calendar that hasn't earned it quite yet?
Oh, my lead generation.
All right, perfect. When's that happening?
That's a little harder.
Why?
You're right. Why? Okay.
Hey, tell me, maybe there's a good
So
reason.
I will. No, it's because I have to schedule other appointments during the day. So I guess I need to just put my lead gen on the calendar and schedule my other appointments around my lead gen.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like a plan?
It does.
Wow.
Because what you're saying, what you just said to me, I know you've changed already, but what you said is that other people's priorities are more important than your priorities. Right?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
So when I release the schedule for next week and one of my classes conflicts with your lead generation time, what are you going to do? You're going to say, if I have to replace this time slot so I can be with Bill and the rest of the group, then I need to find a different time slot to do the lead generation. Because if I know I stick to my calendar and I stick to the schedule, then it will happen. And I know the reason why it needs to happen is because I got big goals and I get a lot of people that depend on me. Because not being financially independent is stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And not being able to give as much as I want to my grandkids, and that means financially and time-wise, it is is disappointing, right?
Right.
There's no
Absolutely.
judgment. It's just we've identified something that we'd like to improve on. So how do we improve on it? Is there anyone that's doing this better than me? Are they using a certain system or a certain tool or a certain piece of technology that if I engage in this thing, there's a better likelihood that I'll be a winner and the other people that depend on me will be winners. See where I'm
I
going?
agree. I mean, and you've given me the tools that I need to identify my priorities and tools to implement
Okay.
to manage my time.
So, you know how sometimes if I were to say, let's say we were interviewing a successful person, okay, and we were trying to analyze like how did this person get successful, right? I think our first reaction might be, okay, well, they probably they probably said yes to a lot of things, right? They said yes to a lot of appointments. They said yes to a lot of opportunities, all this kind of stuff. I would argue that what's more important is what they said no to. Right? They probably said no to a lot of, hey, you got a minute?
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm very bad at that.
Right? So
Right.
please understand, again, there is no judgment on how you spend your time. It's all having an awareness about whether that is leading you closer or further away from what you want your life to look like. And by the way, if you have an empty calendar because you've chosen not to put anything on it, and you just go through the day at happenstance, then you are letting everybody else's priorities dictate what happens in your world.
Right.
If instead you said, from 2 to 3 I'm here, from 3 to 4 I'm here, I got a 10-minute break here because I need a break, and I'm calling my sister here, and I'm calling my granddaughter here, and I'm calling my grandson here, and I'm going to hang out with my husband on this day from this time to this time, then you're not going to have a lot of free time. Or you plan your free time. Hey, Saturday evening from 8 to 10, I'm open for appointments. Who wants to go out to dinner? Who wants to go have a cocktail? From 6 to 7 on Tuesday nights, I'm spontaneous. Okay, it's in my calendar. I got to be spontaneous. Hey, let's go get a quick beer, right?
Right.
And you might think I'm overkilling it right now, but
No, I don't.
I'm really not.
I totally agree.
The more control, that's all we got, right? That's all we got. We got the control over our time.
And we all have the same 24 hours.
That's right. I got the same 24 hours as you, and we both got the same 24 hours as Gary Keller. Now, who's used their time better?
Right, Mr. Keller. And you.
Well,
I'm at the bottom of that totem pole right now. I'm the first to admit it. I know what I need to do, and I know I haven't done it, and that's part of my problem.
Right.
I just have to be more disciplined.
Well, you need to mentally connect. You need to mentally connect the result of the activities and the feeling you get when you get those results. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because if you don't have clarity on why that stuff is important, then you'll be, oh, well, man, I don't want to get rejected today. I think I'll skip my calls. Or, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend an hour looking up the value of this property because then the guy is just going to be a jerk, right? But if you don't connect the fact that when that guy buys a home, he's creating wealth for his family and you're creating wealth for your family, then you're more reluctant to engage in the, difficult behavior.
Do you know what I think part of my problem is? I think part of my problem is I feel like I'm not ready, like I'm not prepared, like I'm not knowledgeable enough. that I might run into some objection that I won't know how to handle. And I think in the back of my mind, I have that. And it's like my excuse for not moving forward.
Okay. So let's think about ways that we can overcome that. Give me some ideas on ways that we could overcome that concern.
Well, number one, if I practice my scripts, I'd be prepared.
That's why I asked you to come up with it, not me.
I mean, that only makes sense, right?
Of course.
Like, I know how to answer questions for my other job because I've been through it before, and I know what the prepared response is, what it should be. So when I get a question, the response just rolls off my tongue because I know it.
That's right.
And I've said it 1,000 times before. And I foresee it being the same way with scripts, with real estate. There are only probably so many objections that you're going to run into. It's probably the same thing over and over again. So if you're prepared, you know the response, then you can respond appropriately. I just, I need to time block memorizing scripts.
Great.
So that I can move forward. I'm kind of like just stuck. And I know a lot of it has to do with this job because it consumes a lot of my time, but I also do not manage my time well. And I need to do a better job of that. And I could probably be doing more real estate than what I am, even while working this other job, if I managed my time better. I just look forward to the time when I don't have to do this other job. I'm just looking forward to that.
Well, here, I'll tell you something that you might not want to hear, okay?
Yes.
It's just going to be a different set of challenges then. It's just going to be a different list of possible distractions then, okay?
Right.
And so if you
So
don't
you're
figure out how to
saying,
manage your time, you're going to feel the same way.
you're saying I'm just going to carry the same bad habits with me if I don't break it now.
Yeah, essentially. So what I'm suggesting is because you have an additional stressor right now, that is the world telling you how important time blocking is. And it's warning you that you have a couple of weeks to figure this out, or you're going to have even more time wasted.
Right.
Right. Okay,
Right.
so great. So we know that if you practice your scripts and you internalize them and you say them over and over and over again, you will not get stumped. Yeah, what's up?
She got
Group of checks?
internet.
Huh?
Are you on Zoom?
Yeah. What's up?
Lucy gotta fix the internet.
Oh,
How long?
can you give me like 10 minutes?
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to work on your objections so you're not stumped.
Right.
Okay, so then we said you're worried about not being ready. How else can we fix that outside of practicing your scripts?
Well, I just feel maybe reviewing what I have so far, what I've learned so far, going back and reviewing it. Because
Great.
I feel like, I mean, I've gone through Ignite once and I've started it a second time just because I felt like I didn't retain everything the first time. So I
Okay.
wanted to do it again. So I have my Ignite book as a resource. And that has
2 minutes? Okay.
I feel like that has all the information I need, my notes from Ignite. So maybe just going back and reviewing and just accessing the resources that I have.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that learning the market would also help. I think learning contracts would also help.
Right.
Right. A lot of the things we've been talking about.
Right. So I do plan to work on the contracts that you identified, pulling those documents off of those GAR forms off and reviewing them this weekend.
Beautiful.
So I think that will be helpful. I
Okay,
have been
so
trying to
stop for a
radio
second.
homes. I'm not.
Take a moment right now and put that on your calendar. When is that going to happen? Right? So we got to find a time that it's going to happen. Right? All right, they're going to